Welcome everyone. I'd like to welcome our new subscribers. I'd like to welcome our family that keeps returning and watching us. Today we are going to make some little Christmas gifts that are good for neighbors, coworkers, friends, and they're very easy to make and they're made out of cat food cans. Now, we reached 50 subscribers, and I said that I would have a drawing when we reached 15 or 50. And I am going to have a drawing. I'm going to give you some instructions on how you can um, get your name in on the drawing. And with that being said, let's get to our crafting, and I'll talk about that a little later. So let's get busy. I am taking a cat food can. I'm drawing a pattern of the cat food can onto this chipboard. Chipboard is just cardboard, but it's really sturdy, and it doesn't have the holes and things that the air holes and stuff that cardboard has. And I am just using this, but you can use cardboard too, it will still work. Which is exactly what I will be using if I decide to make these for the people at work if I have time. Now I'm just cutting around that pattern and those circles, and I'm just gonna quickly cut them out. Once we get them cut out, then I'm going to take my hot glue gun and I'm going to take a bead and go around the rim or the edge of that can, and then I'm going to glue that on that chipboard onto the can. And then if there's any excess, then I'm going to cut it down. Then I'm going to do the same to the top. Now if you're having a hard time getting this one to stick on the rim, you can make it just a small, tiny bit smaller, and it will fit on that edge that's in the can, and you can do it that way. Then I'm going to do my joy, and I don't know why I didn't show this. I'm assuming that when we get down the line here, I'm going to run into our joy little clip. But it's what I did is I cut the joy out just like I'm cutting the candles out, the pictures of the candles out, and I am going to glue them to that cardboard. Now our little joy sign says Jesus, others, then yourself, in that order, and you'll always have joy. And so after I get through putting them on, gluing them on, then I am going to take my gun, my glue gun, and I am going to glue this ribbon. Now this ribbon I thought was the glitter ribbon, and it is glittery, but it's also net, and so it kind of shows through. I'm okay with that because, it looks a little silvery for Christmas, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap the ribbon around a couple times just to make it so you see more of the ribbon than you do the can. Now, you can paint this if you want to. My other ones, I did paint the can, but this one I was going for a more classy or elegant look. I don't know that it's really elegant, but it's a more classy, a more dressed up look. Once I get to the edge where I started, then I'm going to cut the ribbon off, and then I'm going to glue that edge. And of course I'm going to show you while I pick all the strings off. Okay, now I am going to take some red tinsel pipe cleaners, and I'm going to go around the edge of the joy, and then I'm going to go around the edge of the can. I just think that gives it a more finished look and a more festive look as well. And then I do the same thing for the other one, the other side where the candle is. Like I say, I don't know why I chose candles on this. I guess subconsciously I was thinking the light of Christ. So that's kind of what I was going for. I guess that was the same side because here I'm trying to decide if I want the red, gold, or silver, and I like the way the red looked the best. So I'm going to go around the edge of the candles, and then I'm going to go around the edge of the can, and that's what I was doing. I guess I was finishing going around that can. And of course, I don't know why I am showing you me picking off these glue things. They just bother me. Okay, now I am going to take some E6000 and I'm going to go on the edge, and then in the middle I'm going to put some hot glue to hold it in place until the E6000 dries. And I'm just gluing it on. This is a board that if came from Dollar Tree. It was one of those hanging shelves. And I'm going to paint it white. And the reason why I'm painting it white after I glued it on, I just wasn't sure I'd get a really good hold. So I wanted to do that on the bare wood. And I'm painting the top and the sides. I am not painting the bottom. One of the reasons why I'm not painting the bottom is because it's sanded and smooth and nice, but because it is so light it looks white. Now I'm taking some more of that wired ribbon and I'm wrapping it around my fingers about 3 times. Then I'm going to cut it. I'm going to take, well, first of all, I'm going to take some of that red tinsel and I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to spread the loops out. And I'm going to do one more because I felt like it needed an extra one. I'm going to take the tinsel pipe cleaner and twist it tight, and then I'm going to take the loops out, spread the loops around. Then I'm going to glue one down, and then I'll glue the other one on top of it. I'm kind of messing with the loops here, but I'm going to really do that after we glue this one down. So I'm gluing that one down, and then I'm going to take all the loops, I'm going to poof them out and make them so I like them. Now I'm taking some fiber fill or quilting batting, and I'm going to glue it on, and I'm going to just glue it on the edges. I'm going to go along the edge of the fabric or the fiber fill. Then I'm going to glue it to the sides, and then I'm going to cut off the excess. Okay, now I'm going to take a piece in between the can and the edge of that, and I'm just going to glue the edges down. I'm going to do on both sides the same thing, and I'm just going to glue it down, cut it, and glue it to the side. Then I'm going to take another piece of that fiber fill and cut it and glue it the same way. I'm going to go along the edges and the bottom, and then I'm going to go along the sides, glue it down, and cut off the excess. Okay, now I'm going to take this candle ring or wreath, and I'm going to take some of the greenery, and I got this at Hobby Lobby when it was 50% off. Now I'm taking some Christmas bulbs or balls, and I'm going to glue them on, but I'm also gluing them to the can as well to help secure the can and the balls. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to put some of that greenery down, making sure I'm covering where the holes in that wood is because I didn't fill them in because we would be covering them. Then I'm going to take some red balls and I'm going to glue them down. Then I'm going to glue them to the other ball and to the can and just give it a nice, better, secure hold. Okay, now I'm going to take some gold tinsel pipe cleaner and twist it around my pencil, and then I'm going to glue it to these balls on the inside there, in between them. And I have to take my pencil because my fingers are too fat to get in there. So I'm just gluing that in there, and then I am struggling with this one for a minute. This one's a little tighter than the other side. Now I'm taking two little, oh no, I guess I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to twist that around the tinsel around the pencil, glue it on in between the two bulbs, and then I'm going to take another one and do the same thing. Okay, then I'm going to take, whoops, I'm having issues. Can't get my fat fingers in there to hold that down. Now I'm taking some leaves off that wreath, and I'm going to glue them to the top sides of each one of those bulbs. Okay, now I am going to put a couple more in the middle of that greenery. And then I am going to take some little gold foam beads and some little red and gold foam beads. And then I am going to take a little red one. I think I might have put some silver, little silver beads on these as well. Oh no, pine cones. I'm putting some pine cones on this one. Okay, now I'm going to take my other one that we did. This one I painted. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use the E6000 and the hot glue. Then I'm going to take, and I didn't paint this board because I'm doing it rustic, and I'm just going to take some of um, this wire that's the tree looking garland, and I'm going to go around that. Then I'm going to cut off the extra. Then I'm going to glue some balls, Christmas balls in there, gluing it to the edge of the can as well as to the wood, the surface. And I'm also going to take some gold ones and put in there. On the top I put some pine cones and some greenery with some of the red berries, faux berries, and I'm now putting a twisted gold on the Joy underneath the can on both sides, but I end up on the other side adding a little more of that garland because it was just had a little bit of the wood showing. And I'm adding some berries to it as well. I must have accidentally cut the part where I did the top off. I just added some greenery, a couple pine cones, and some berries. And on the Joy, okay, on these cans that I did, I glued the cardboard on, and then I took them outside and spray painted them black. And then I took some nutmeg and some baking soda and mixed it together, the paint, the acrylic paint, nutmeg with some baking soda, and then I took my brush and I just tapped it on the can, leaving spaces with some black on there to make it look rustic. Now I'm just cutting out the candle. I'm gluing it on the candle picture, and then I'm cutting off the excess. Okay, and then I'm going to cut the Joy out, and I'm going to glue it on. Now you want to make sure they're going the same direction, that your um, Joy and your candle is going to be on the same direction so that when you glue it on, the candles are straight and so is the joy. There, I'm just kind of checking it because I didn't the first time. Now I'm taking some antique white and I am just going around the edges, especially with dry brushing. I'm not using a lot of paint, I'm just doing dry brushing with a little bit. And then I'm going to go over parts of that to make the paper look like it's yellowed. Then I'm going to take a little nutmeg and go around the edges. Now if you have that ink, you can use the ink or whatever you have. Now I'm going to take some greenery and I'm going to glue them onto the top. This one is going to be a little bit more rustic because this one's going to my neighbor and she's a little bit more like me. She likes vintage and rustic, and so this is what we're going to be giving her in her little gift basket. Now I'm gluing on some pine cones. I realized I lost one right there and so I glued it on. Now I'm going to glue these on. And then I'm going to glue some berries on, but that's all I'm going to put on the top one of this because I want this one to be more rustic than the others. Okay, now I am going to go around the edges with some jute. Now I did that on both of these rustic ones. I went around the edge of the joy sign and then I went around the edge of the tin can and then I turned them over and did the same on the candle side. I like doing these two-sided, so if someone wants to put it on a coffee table or on a table, period, then it's on both sides. There's something on both sides. Now I'm taking that jute and I'm just making a little shoestring bow, and I did that on the other one too, only I wrapped the string around my fingers a few times and then made a bow that way. But I'm going to put the bow on both sides. Now I'm going to take this piece of wood. I've sanded it down and just kind of made it a little nicer. And it's not perfect, I just kind of rounded the corners, softened it up a little bit. And now I'm taking some black paint and I'm going around the edge. Okay, now I'm going to just dry brush on across that wood. Okay, I decided to add a little more berries on this one while I'm waiting for that one to dry. Okay, now I'm going to take that E6000 on the edges and then because the edges kind of stick out a little bit more, and then I'm taking some hot glue to hold it in place while it goes down, and then I glued a little deer onto that. Now I'm just taking some cardboard and making a cone, and we're going to make a Christmas tree out of this. And I'm just going to even up the bottom, and then I'm going to take some of that garland tree because I didn't have I couldn't find my little bottle brush trees or whatever they are. Um, so I'm just gluing this around the cardboard cone and making it like a really fuzzy tree. And then I'm just kind of giving the top part or parts where I think I need it a little haircut. Then I'm going to glue it down to the wood, just using hot glue. Okay, and then I'm going to take a pine cone and I'm going to glue it down. I'm taking some, I don't know if those are Christmas balls. Yeah, them are Christmas balls. Some just tiny ones from the dollar store. Just some really tiny Christmas balls on the other side. And then I'm taking some white paint and I'm painting that Christmas tree to make it look like the snow's falling on it. And then I'm going to take some and put some on that pine cone. And then I'm going to do it on the berries on the top, a little bit on the deer, and a little bit on the berries on the back, or them ornaments. Then I'm going to go around and put it on, just dab. I'm just tapping and dabbing. And this is how I also did the cans. I'm just tapping and dabbing a little bit of snow on around the edges there. And now I'm taking some little beads from a little string of necklace string from the 4th of July that I got at Walmart, and I'm just cutting them little beads off and putting them on our little tree. Just gluing them on there wherever I think they look the best. Okay, now I'm going to take a little white star that I also got at 4th of July. It's a little felt star I got from Hobby Lobby, and it's self-stickered, so I stickered it to the cardboard and I painted it black. Oh no, I'm thinking this is the ones that maybe I'm putting little beads, little silver beads on this one just here and there instead of the other one. Now I'm going to take some of that silver tinsel and I'm going to go all the way around that star. After the paint, I painted the cardboard side white. After it dried, then I'm gluing this on. And then I'm taking some silver beads from a little necklace and I'm gluing, or string of beads from, again, Walmart, 4th of July. And I'm just gluing them on the points of the stars. Now on the top of my tree, there was just a little hole at the top where we started, and so I'm just going to glue that into the tree. And this is our final projects. I think they turned out kind of nice. I love the one with the little deer, but I kind of like them all. I'm not really into fancy, but I still think the one that is a little fancier is very nice. Remember that, you guys, that's good advice. Jesus, others, then yourself. In that order, you'll always have joy. And here is a picture of our the candle side. And I think that looks really festive and cute as well. Okay, I'm going to spend a few minutes telling you what you need to do on our drawing. Okay, in the drawing, if you want to be included in the drawing, I am going to leave my email address in the comments below, and I want you, number one, you have to be subscribed, but if you don't want your information out there, that's fine, I get that. So just leave your name and address where I can send the gift to, and do it through the email. That way none of your information is out there and I can still send a gift. So if you're subscribed, put your name and an address. On the bottom, and send me the message and I will put your name in on a drawing. Thank you so much for popping in today. I truly appreciate you guys. You're awesome. You may be only one person in the world, but you may be the world to one person. So hang in there. Love you. Goodbye.